On this edition of the WealthKeel Freestyle, we are going to walk through property and casualty insurance. So a very popular topic. Pretty much anyone that has a home or a car, or they rent, or they have personal articles, personal property that is valuable, you're affected by all of this. And this is one thing we walk through quite a bit in financial plans, but we often get a lot of questions too, and it's one of those things I feel like we sit on the back burner and we don't check in on it enough. So today I'm going to walk through some important topics to always keep an eye on, some good questions to ask yourself. We'll include those workflows that we've been sharing in some of the WealthKeel Freestyle that continue to get good feedback, so we'll include that in the show notes. But we are going to walk through today what you should be looking for in your property and casualty insurance in the WealthKeel Freestyle. That's all coming up. Stay tuned. Okay, first up is real estate. So again, whether you're renting or whether you own property or a vacation home, we're just going to walk through a few items. Again, make sure you click on the attachment we'll include in the show notes, which will include some more details, but let's just go over some of the basics. And again, because I am using a reference here, you'll see my eyes bounce a little bit more than usual. But first and foremost, did you add property? Did you remove property? Do you need to update your actual, the big items of your property and casualty insurance for your real estate? Meaning, again, did you add a home? Did you add a vacation home? Did you change homes? So that's the big one to take advantage of at the start and make sure you're taking good inventory on that. Have you had substantial improvements? Did you add an addition? Did you add a bedroom? Did you add a swimming pool? Make sure you're notifying your insurance agent on those to make sure that your insurance is growing with your property. Next big one is, did your property value increase? Are you in the hot neighborhood right now where values are increasing and the property of your home has gone up? Another good reason to check in with your insurance agent. The other few that I think we don't really think about that much. I think today most homes have these things, but did you add more smoke detectors? Did you add a better security system? Did you add carbon monoxide detectors? Whatever those upgrades may be, I would suggest always checking in with your insurance agent and letting them know of those updates, because you would be surprised by how many possible discounts can be included by you just making those few changes there. The big one that usually when I review or build a financial plan, this is the first thing that I go to is, what's your deductible? Is your deductible $250? If you have a good emergency fund built up, that could be too low. Should you increase it to $500? Should you increase it to $1,000? Make sure your deductible is growing with your financial situation, meaning that if you have a good emergency fund and you can go through a large claim that requires a $1,000 deductible and it doesn't have a big effect on you, well, that could help your insurance premiums in the long run, because hopefully you're not having too many claims on an insurance perspective. So those are the few big ones that we like to cover on the real estate side of things. Again, you can really take this whether it's your primary residence or a vacation home or a rental property. Those are just a few to keep an eye on. Like I said, click on the attachment we'll include too, which includes even more detail as well. All right, next up is auto insurance. So really with auto insurance, again, you're making sure that your coverage is protecting what you're looking for. So again, the value of the car, making sure that the actual policy, one, hopefully it's meeting your state minimum requirements, but we're looking for above and beyond that to see, how much detail you want built into your plan. Again, these are things that are worth updating, every few years, every 2 to 3 years. Check in, make sure everything's up to date, and don't be scared to go get quotes from other places as well. Sometimes we lock in because it's easy and premiums may increase, but you'd be surprised by how much you can save by just shopping around as well. The other one that we have a note on here is if you have kids. There are a lot of discounts for kids, so pretty much the rule of thumb is anyone under the age of 26 is affecting your premiums rather drastically, but they do have discounts such as good grades and good student discounts. So check to see if your current insurance provider provides any types of discounts for having young kids on your policy. And again, we'll come back to my number one thing: check your deductible. If you can stomach $1,000 deductible, it's going to help your premiums in the long run. Hopefully you're not having that many claims on your insurance. That $1,000 becomes repetitive. If that's too much, maybe $500 makes sense. If $500 is too much, maybe $250 makes sense. But keep an eye on your deductible, keep an eye on your overall plan. And again, because individuals under the age of 26 can have a pretty big effect on your premiums, make sure you're seeing if there's any discounts available as well for having those younger drivers on your policy. Okay, to end, we're going to just go through a few miscellaneous points here. They don't fit neatly into one category per se, but the first thing is umbrella insurance. If you have never heard of umbrella insurance, it's extremely low cost coverage for extra liability. So it's extra liability on your car insurance and your home or your renter's policy. And usually, we always use the standard quote is it's usually $200 per year for $1 million of coverage is the average quote that we kind of just note. Obviously, you want to confirm that with your agent, but it just adds extra liability coverage on your car insurance and also your home insurance or your renter's insurance. Personal articles. I'm still amazed by how many individuals don't put extra insurance policies on their jewelry. The number one example is engagement rings. If you went and spent a lot of money on an engagement ring or even any type of jewelry, you should add a personal articles policy, which is going to insure just that one piece of jewelry, or it could be, again, some type of collectible. I'm just using jewelry because I think it's probably the most common. So those are a few that we always like to keep an eye on. If you're in a flood area, make sure your flood insurance is up to date and it makes sense. If you're in an earthquake area, make sure that you have a plan that makes sense to cover any earthquake issues as well. And last but not least, if you're a business owner, you should always look into buy-sell agreements as well, just to help in case something were to happen to you, if you were to become disabled. And then that same theory goes on to all the partners in your business as well. So again, this topic for the WealthKeel Freestyle this week was just property and casualty insurance. Very common topic because we pretty much all deal with it on a day-to-day basis. But I think it's one of those things that just gets put on the back burner. So make sure you're keeping up with your real estate policies. Make sure you're keeping up with your car policies. If you don't have an umbrella policy, I would really look into that one. I think that one should be a part of everyone's financial plan. And then again, some of those special circumstances, make sure you're keeping an eye on those. But I hope you enjoyed this edition of the WealthKeel Freestyle. As always, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next video.